Come on in, come on up, come on over for the merriest time of year. Come on up, come on in, get together for a good time. Smile, my dear. Come on in, come on up, come on over. We'll be dancing round the tree. So let us have a swinging Christmas, just like 1, 2, 3. We know the time is short, we blink and then it's gone. So we better make the most of what we've got. So take your neighbor by the hand and join the dance parade before the clock strikes and it's all too late.
Oh, hello, everybody. Sorry, you caught me. Wait, it's allergy season here. Here in Colorado, there's been a ton of rain. So now that it's sunny, of course, all the pollen has started. So hi, hello everyone. How are you doing? I am Miss Carrie of Miss Carrie's Creations. I just wanted to say hello, get on, answer some questions, check to see if you guys, were able to take a look at today's video yet, um, and see if, like I said, if you've got any questions. Before we take a look at the project, I do want to kind of reintroduce myself here. Like I said, my name is Miss Carrie. I do own Miss Carrie's Creations, so that's where you will find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, just under Miss Carrie's Creations. That's where you will find me. I showed you how to make the etched glass ornament. So you learn how to do etching and all kinds of things like that. I have been creating for thinking like almost like how old is he? So about 20 years here. I've been doing creativity. I started with scrapbooking, took a 15-year break, came back in when I was introduced to the Cricut machine, started teaching classes with Cricut Craft Room. Who remembers Cricut Craft Room? I'd love to know who remembers Cricut Craft Room. Started teaching classes with that, and that was about the time that Design Space came in, and so I started teaching. I did a lot of in-person classes at that time, and now I'm doing live classes, so I get to do stuff for you. So I'm going to check real quick. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Catherine. Hey, Renee. Looks like we got a lot of people. Someone else is sneezing too. So I'm going to show you my project real quick just to remind you, and then we'll kind of come across with some questions, okay? So this is the little etched glass ornament, and I'm going to try to get this in the light. Etching is really kind of hard to get on camera. I will tell you, taking photos of this, I had to get it just right to get it in there. But that is the ornament we made. So you should have gotten 2 free SVGs. One was the little deer face, and then one was the little holly. And I did teach you guys how to cut felt with the Cricut Joy, because if you go into material settings, like I talked about in my video, felt is not listed with the Cricut Joy. So we did kind of I did walk you through how to add felt to your material settings. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Someone did just ask if there was a difference between Deer Face 1 and Deer Face 2. There is a difference, okay? So I'm going to try to get this in the light a little better again. So the Deer Face includes the little antlers, and you could either use this as a nose or a face, depending. I'm trying to get this in the light. There, that's better. You could use it as a nose or a face if you wanted to. Now, it comes in as a single image file with the antlers and the nose as Deer Face 1. Deer Face 2, I divided it up where the antlers were separate from the nose, so that if you wanted to make this into a face and make it bigger, or make the antlers a different size, or that kind of thing. So that was the difference. Because I know some people like to be able to modify each piece in the image versus having a single set that they have to manipulate the image altogether. So I hope that helps you guys. Okay. Let me see. Um, so like I said, you learned how to cut the felt. You learned how to do the etching cream. It looks like someone just asked if you could add color to the etching cream. I have seen where people add color to the etching cream. Now, I'm not remembering. I think they added just like a dry pigment to it, but I have never done that. So that's something that you might have to research on your own. It would be really fun to try, wouldn't it? You could add some other color. I am going to show you real quick though. I promised you in my video that I would show you some other options for using these. So if you're not into etching cream, you could also do paint. Okay. Now these images are part of the VIP holiday bundle. But like these two are just paint. So this is, I did the exact same process with the stencil, creating the stencil, adding it to the ornament, and then I just used a chalk paint on this one, and then I also used a chalk paint on this one. So you can see it gives you like a totally different look so that you could, if you want something different than the etching cream. And then here's like another one that I made with etching cream, and it has the word joy, and it's a little bit more of a bolder image. Okay, so it also kind of depends on what kind of image you use, that it's going to kind of change the look of it. Okay, so someone just asked if I ever add filler. Okay, do I ever add filler to the ornament? That's not something I've ever done. You could definitely do that. You could definitely add, I think someone suggested put like glitter in there or that paper snow. Um, you could add like paper scraps if you're one that has a lot of paper scraps like I do. You could put those in there or bits of ribbon. Um, you could definitely add filler in there. My house has kind of more of a rustic, country, traditional. I don't know if traditional is the word. Christmas decoration. So for me, just the etched glass and that kind of thing stuff I like. And honestly, once you put it on a tree, and you have stuff behind it, you're going to be able to see that etching cream. Okay. So someone said you could put dark cardstock behind it. That's a good idea. You could also put dark cardstock, and really have it pop up. Like I said, like when you put it, if you take a look at my photos, I actually sat it on some greenery so you could see what it would look like, on a typical pine tree. And the etching does pop up a lot more when you've got that dark green backing. My daughter has a pink tree, so it might turn out a little bit different. All right. So Leslie asked, so instead of etching cream, did I use chalk paint? Yes. So on these two, instead of the etching cream, I did the chalk paint. So again, the same process that's in the video. You create the little stencil in Design Space. You place it on. I did a flat ornament just because those are a lot easier to work with. And then, yeah, I used chalk paint over the stencil instead of etching cream. You do need to kind of let it set a moment so that it dries. And then you just peel off the stencil and you have just a fun little, a different look, like I said, a totally different look. But depending on your decor, depending on what you're going for, you could use this deer SVG or even the holly SVG on there, and recreate these just completely differently. Oh, so you guys are asking me to put dark cardstock behind it. Yeah, I would do that if I could get it. Let me see if I've got a piece of felt. Hold on. Here. See if that shows up a little better. I know I've got lights coming down. Does that show up a little better? It does. Okay, so this would be kind of what it's really difficult because I do have some like my camera lights too. So I'm trying to like not get the reflection of of the lights and everything. I don't there. That shows up a little bit better. So you can see this is what it would probably end up looking like on your Christmas tree then. You could definitely see that a little bit better. So Susan, great question. Susan just asked, how smelly is the etching cream? Okay, so I will tell you, I am one that is super sensitive to smells, textures, all of those lovely things that some of us are more susceptible to not enjoying. And I will say that etching cream does have a little bit of a smell. Okay. There is another etching cream that I recently discovered, and it is supposed to be less toxic, I guess you could say. I discovered it on Amazon, and so that's one I'm going to try here pretty soon. I haven't tried it, so I don't know if it works better or not. But I am going to give it a try because, yeah, I'm just as sensitive to smells. So, what brand of etching cream did you use? Okay, so Black Sheep. Great question, Elena. Um, so I use Armor Etch. All right, Armor Etch is the one that I prefer using. Like I said, I just discovered a new one on Amazon. I just ordered because it's supposed to be less smelly. It does say on the back, make sure you read. It says make sure you're in a well ventilated area, that kind of thing, because it does have a little bit of a smell. Um, I will tell you, I did attempt. Dollar Tree here has little tiny bottles of etching cream, and I attempted to use it, and I do not recommend it. It's a lot thinner. It ran all over my desk. It was a big mess, and it didn't create the quality of etching that I would have preferred. Okay, so I explained in my video how etching cream works because I'm a bit of a nerd. I like to know how the chemical reaction takes place. So I did explain that in my video. So you definitely want a good solid coating, which is why I do like the Armor Etch. So I'm trying to double. Okay. So it looks like, oh, someone said it looks very elegant. Yes, I think the etching looks really elegant too. My daughter is getting married in September, and we are going to do some different etched glass things for her wedding because I don't know, I love the look of this frosted glass. It's just such a gorgeous, I don't know, a gorgeous piece. Okay. I think it just adds a nice little elegant touch to that. Okay. I think it's really pretty. So, good question. Is etching cream reusable? So, no. Okay. Um, I'm going to open this up and invite the smell into my craft room. It is super thick. I don't know how well you're going to see this. It is super thick like paste. All right. And it actually, the minute it hits the air and it hits your glass, it starts to form a chemical reaction. Now, I did say in my video that once it's kind of sat on there for a minute, if you did a thicker layer, you can kind of scrape a little bit of the excess off and put it back in the jar. I just don't recommend that just because I know that kind of once it hits the glass and it kind of starts reacting with everything, there's a chance that you might not get as good of a reaction if you kind of reuse it and that kind of thing. So I don't recommend reusing it, but it does say on many blogs and on the Armor Etch, it does say you can scrape it off and put it back in the jar. That's not something I've ever done just because I know how that kind of chemical reaction starts to work, and I just worry that it would slowly start to because it like dries out as it's sitting there. It basically starts kind of evaporating. So I would worry that it would kind of like mess with the chemicals inside, if that makes any sense. So, oh, Susan, cute. That's a good idea. So Susan said back to smells. You could stuff maybe pine cones or cloves in there. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm a smell person too. I don't know if you are, Susan, but I like having good smells in my house. And like I said, I'm sensitive to smells, so that would be a really good idea, especially because you do have kind of a little bit of an opening at the top. Um, that if you wanted to add more to the opening, you could actually put something in there and give it a little bit of a scent. That's a cute idea, and that would be cute. Okay, so great question. Adelaide, I'm hoping I said that right. Adelaide asked, where do you put the washed up etching cream? So I'm assuming that you're asking when you go to rinse this off, where that ends up. Um, I do show in my video that you need to, you can rinse it off in either a stainless steel sink. It's safe to go down the drain according to the website. Um, or I do it in a metal tub. That's what I showed in my video was a metal tub. You do not want to rinse it off in like a porcelain or a glass sink because this is designed to work with glass and basically etch your glass and put pits in the glass and destroy the glass. So you don't want to rinse it off in a glass sink or a glass basin or a porcelain sink. Like I said, I show in my video that I just rinsed it off in a metal tub, and then we have like a place out back that I dumped it out. Um, but according to the site and according to the jar, it is safe to rinse and go down the drain. Just make sure you are rinsing it off in a stainless steel sink, not a porcelain or a glass. Can you etch other things other than glass? Great question, Erin. Yes. Just like I said, the reason you would not want to rinse it off in a porcelain sink is because it will etch porcelain. It will etch glass. You can do plates. You can do vases. I saw where one creator took masking tape and she taped a plaid design on a glass base and then she filled it with the etching cream. And then when you removed all the masking, you got this cute little plaid glass base. For the wedding, we are doing little whiskey glasses. You can also do, like I said, anything porcelain or glass based that it works great on. So Kathy asked, or Catherine, what is your favorite craft to do or make? Um, wow, that's a loaded question. Um, so I'm one that likes to try lots of things. Um, I guess paper crafting and Cricut crafts would be kind of my first love. If you go to my YouTube channel, if you go to my Instagram, Facebook, all of that, you're going to see a lot of paper crafts. But I also incorporate the Cricut in there. So I think paper crafts would be my first love, followed by Cricut. I love doing Cricut home decor. I do a lot of home decor stuff in my own home. You just don't see it on any of my channel. I should probably share that more. Um, and then I also do cross stitch and crochet. And then, like I said, I'm always like one that goes, "Ooh, that looks like a fun one to try," and and then I try something new. I don't know. Are you guys like that, where you see like you're walking through a craft store and then you're like, "Oh, that looks like something I want to try," and then you grab it and give it a shot, and then you go, "Yeah, maybe that wasn't for me." Oh, thank you, Catherine. Catherine said your video was very informative. I'm glad. Um, I have a background in teaching and technology, so I combine those two um, when I'm doing YouTube videos and stuff. So I think the teacher voice sometimes comes out sometimes, but then like my technology brain walks through all the possibilities. So have I ever tried Etch All? I have tried Etch All before. I have heard that it works well, it worked well for me. I've only used it once though. I'm trying to think. It was a while ago. I took I took the little there's that one yogurt that comes in the little jars and I etched a bunch of those for candles. And I did use Etch All for that and it worked pretty well. So yes, I have used Etch All. I'm like, I gotta think through that. So Catherine said, I was wondering where Miss Carrie came from. Yes. So if you go to my about page on my website, I talk about where Miss Carrie came from. I taught in the special ed realm, and my last name. Not only do I have a mother-in-law who's a teacher, so that name was already out there, but my last name was kind of hard for some kids to say. So it kind of a lot of the special education children ended up calling me Miss Carrie, and then it just kind of like kind of stuck. So that's kind of where that came from. So Monique says she's tried everything from jewelry, forging, beads, knitting, paper. Yep, yep. I'm kind of one of those people. I did jewelry making in the past. Yeah, there's a lot that we all try. So Debbie just asked, I've had etching cream for years and haven't used it. Does it go bad? I will tell you that yes, it does go bad. And I discovered that the hard way. When I went to make this project, I did find an old bottle of etching cream. It was from Folk Art. Folk Art also has a really good etching cream. And I opened up the jar and it was solidified inside the jar. It was just solid. Kind of if you've ever used texture paste and you've like sat texture paste out for a while, um, then yeah, it was like completely solid. So yeah, etching cream can eventually go bad. I think because I think it has that consistency of like paint or paste over time, it is going to go bad. So, I was just asked, do I have any fun events coming up? Other than our daughter's wedding, no. um, we are in wedding mode in this house right now. So, my business stuff, I wouldn't say it's taken a back seat, but it has. There's going to be more focus to the wedding. So, on my YouTube channel, you're probably going to get to see some wedding projects that I'm making here soon. We have. I'm doing a glass sign coming up this next week. I'm going to show how to do some of the groomsmen projects, the bridesmaids projects, that kind of thing. Just because right now we are in wedding mode. So I have not planned any events until this wedding is over. So I'm excited for the wedding. She's our only daughter. We're going to make sure that, she has a great wedding. But that just means that as a mom, I'm refocusing. And so, yeah, no events right now. So Debbie asked, so if it's liquid, it should be okay. So back to the question of does it go bad? If it's liquidy, it should be okay. I would still, test it on a scrap piece of glass or test it on something, because you would hate to like recreate the whole project and then find out that the etching cream did go bad. All right. I did look, like I looked all over the jar and I could not find like a use by date or anything like that. And if you go on the website, it doesn't like say anything about expiration, but just from previous experience, I have found that it did go bad. So Susan asked, so am I doing etched pint glasses or mugs for the groomsmen? So my daughter has a couple of ideas. So I'm not quite sure what exactly her thought is yet, but I know it will be like some type of like a glass. I do know that that's kind of where her thought process is going, but we'll see. That's I have to wait until I get an answer from her for that one, which I think she's probably trying to get an answer from the groom, and we'll see how that goes. Yes, Debbie, I would suggest that you test it on a jar. Like if you have a leftover mayonnaise jar, or we all have like those condiments that that come in a glass jar. Once you empty it out, test it on one of those. Or like I said, there's that one yogurt. It just blanked that comes in the glass cups. I use that all the time for practicing etching projects because the yogurt's good, and then I have a free glass to work with. So we're kind of going to wrap up here in a minute. I just want to double check that if there's any more questions. Yes, there we go. We mason jars. Oh, what are mason jars? They're just like the jars that your canned goods go in. Here we call them mason jars. Some people call them bell jars. Um, I'm trying to think of what other names I've heard of, but they're the glass jars that we here in the States have a lot of our like pickles and olives and things in. Canning jars. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes, Debbie. Yeah, hubby tries to throw those glass jars out. You save those because then you can test all of your etching cream on there. All right, so before I go, I just want to remind you again, don't forget to grab those SVGs. Like I said, you're going to get the holly file and you're going to have the deer file, and then the deer file does have it where it's separated into two pieces. So that might be helpful for some of you. Those of you who are VIPs, you have the holiday, like the holiday bundle, where you'll get even more designs that work out really good on those little ornaments. So just make sure that you grab those because eventually a lot of things do expire. Like the coupon codes and things will eventually expire. So make sure you grab those sooner than later. I will be checking the site this weekend. So like if you have any questions, if you want to share the ornaments you made, which I would love to see, go ahead and post those because I will definitely comment on them. And then again, if you want to find me anywhere, if you want to see anything like my 5-minute Cricut classes or any of my paper crafts or the wedding decor we're going to be making, you can visit Miss Carrie's Creations online. I believe they said the link is going to be um, in the description, and you guys can follow me and join me and chat with me and ask all sorts of questions. So I'm just going to double check real quick. Oh, thank you, Susan. Susan said best wishes for a stress-free wedding. Yeah, yes, I'm hoping it's stress. Oh, Adelaide, where did I get the flat size? Oh, so the flat ornaments. We got it at a local hobby store, but they're also on Amazon. So there's a list in my supply list, or a link in my supply list that shows where I got the flat ornaments. And I will advise that if you're new to doing anything on an ornament with vinyl, that you start with the flat because the rounded are a little bit more difficult. All right, so again, guys, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for this summit. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for joining me. And again, if you have any questions or you want to share what you made, go ahead and tag me in the group, and I will definitely answer those questions and comment on any of those wonderful projects that you make. Hope you guys are doing really, really great, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.